For the longest period of time, I used to preach, there's no reason to ever have a regret. I don't have regrets over anything I've ever done in life. You shouldn't have regrets. I mean, my Lord, it's in the past. Don't drag it forward, right? But what if you have a regret and you don't deal with it? What happens then? I can tell you what happens. Any emotion, especially one like that we don't feel great about, has a tendency over time to deepen itself and to get worse and to become more troublesome, to become something that when it comes into our mind, we worry about it. And I'm going to share today regrets that I have about my parents passing from my side, not theirs, from my side. I'm going to tell you what happened and how I finally came to realize that it's crucially important to acknowledge our regrets in life, whether it's about parents passing or we didn't take a job we should have taken, or we stayed too long in a job we should have stayed in, or we stayed too long in a relationship we shouldn't have stayed in, or we didn't get into a relationship. There's regrets for everything, right? For our addictions, whatever it might be. But I want to talk about regret from a different side. You're tuned into David Essel Live, America and the world's most positive podcast ever, baby. 35 years now as a podcast host, radio host, TV host, and so much more. I'm excited to be able to share this information with you. If you want to listen to all of our podcasts, go to buzzsprout.com, Google David Essel. There's thousands of hours from my Sirius XM radio days all the way up to right now when I'm doing these short or podcasts in order to give you good information to utilize right away. And please share this video. So many times our world gets so screwed up in mass consciousness where people say you shouldn't have regrets at all. If you have regrets, it's your problem, it's your issue. And I used to believe that, and I used to be one of the people that said that, and I'm so sorry because I was so wrong. My mom died 3 years ago, my dad died 2 years ago, and it was in the last year that I admitted I have regrets over both of their passing. And the regrets are real. And it's important to admit regrets because when we admit regrets, we're living in the present moment. I'm not saying hang on to them because I needed to admit them and then let them go. Admitting a regret and then working on letting it go is so much more powerful than pretending the regret isn't there or saying I can't do anything about it. We can do a lot about it. So the regret I have with my mom and dad is they were very ill for 4 years. They were in hospice for 2 years or more in their home. My brother Terry, my sister Mary Diane did a phenomenal job of setting up 24/7 nursing care for a number of years. I mean, the amount of work they put in was huge, and that's New York, and I'm in Florida. At first, during COVID, I wouldn't travel to New York because of the insane, ridiculous rules that they had at the airports and all that kind of stuff. And so the first couple of years they were sick. They weren't dying sick. Well, I shouldn't say that. Yes, they were dying, but they weren't deathly sick. It wasn't like they were going to die in a week or something like that. But the regret that I have is not so much that I didn't fly to Syracuse, New York, right when COVID started and both my parents became ill. My regret is that I didn't drive there and spend more time there. There's all kinds of reasons we come up with when we don't do what we maybe should do or is the best move. We come up with justifications, rationalizations. My business was struggling during the COVID, and so I said I had to stay and try to rebuild my business, and then after we started getting our business back, I'm sure I came up with other justifications. But now I look back and said, if I could do it differently next time, I would. I'm not going to get another next time with my mom and dad. But I think it's important to share this with you because if you have regrets, the most important thing is to admit them. And then what I do with these regrets with my mom and dad that I didn't get up there and spend more time with them is I hold that regret like a mother holds a crying child. And I say to the regret, I understand you. You have a valid position in my mind. I could have been better. I could have done better. But at that moment, I chose not to. I forgive myself for making that choice. And I move forward and do everything in my world possible to make up for it. One of the ways that I make up for what I maybe didn't do correctly with my mom and dad is to share that with you. Maybe by me sharing that I made an error that I have forgiven myself for. I'm good with this now. Now that I admitted it, I'm good with it. I've forgiven myself. And maybe this story will help you. If you hold a regret against yourself for something that you didn't do or something you did do, go ahead and pull it up. Put it down on a piece of paper. This is what I did. I wrote down, I am so sorry, Mom and Dad. I regret so much that I didn't travel to you at a time when I could have. A time where I could have. Now, I did FaceTime with them all the time. I was constantly on FaceTime. But it's not the same as being there. So please learn from my mistakes. Please learn from my errors. And when you're thinking of not doing something because it's uncomfortable, or if it puts you out of your realm, it makes you do things that you'd rather not do, it's a pain in the butt type of thing, right? Overcome that and do it anyway. If I can help you at all, because sometimes it's really hard to forgive ourselves. We have a 2-step process that we teach that's very powerful. I used it myself to forgive myself for the errors I made with my mom and dad when they were sick. And I can teach you the same thing. Join me at talkdavid.com. Let's work together. We can remove all regrets and be free. And be free. And then when we admit our regrets to others, we can help them so they don't have to go down the same pathway, which is why I'm sharing this story. There's also 4 free books at talkdavid.com that just might help you as well. And I'm there for you all the time. Until we meet again, I'm David Essel. Have a beautiful day.